Hello everyone, how's it going? George here for another video. Twice as exhausted as yesterday. I'm just so tired. Working as a teacher is a tiring job. You're dealing with people constantly, and there's nothing more draining than dealing with human beings. So imagine doing that for about 8 hours every day. Anyhow, that is not what this video is about. I got this video idea from my mother yesterday because we were talking about funny experiences with teachers, and it got me thinking about just how many memorable teachers I've had all across the globe, really. So I thought I would tell you about some of them off the top of my head. I haven't written anything down, so it's like literally just off the top of my head. There are some good experiences and there are some funny experiences and then not so good experiences. So I'll like go in chronological order based on what I can remember. So the earliest memory of the most memorable teacher I had was a teacher called Miss Manika, and she was in Malaysia. And Miss Manika, I think she was a local Malaysian, and I don't know, I've spoken to her since, like years later, and she's really like nice and she missed me, but back then I felt like she hated me. She used to get so annoyed with me because I couldn't like stay still in my seat. So I'd like be fidgeting all the time, and she'd say, "You have ants in the pants. What is wrong with you? Ants in the pants." So that was my nickname from her. I had ants in the pants. But also there was something that actually really upset me. And it was that she once made fun of the fact that I didn't know how to tie my shoelaces. And I was in year 3, mind you, so I don't know. Is that an age where you're expected to tie your shoelaces, be able to tie your shoelaces? I don't know, but at that point I didn't know. And so she like announced it in front of the whole class and everyone laughed about it. And that was not very fun. Needless to say, I quickly learned how to tie my shoelaces after for fear of being ridiculed. So that was in Malaysia. Moving along to Miss Enchis in Zambia. She was Dutch, very tall lady, and I just have one funny memory of her. She was a nice teacher, good enough, but there was once when she brought licorice into class, like this black licorice, and she was giving it out to everyone, like, "Oh, I brought licorice, like everybody try, oh, it's so nice," and we're all like trying it. Oh, we're all like grabbed at it because we thought it's like, "Oh, tasty, sweet." But what happened was it just wasn't as tasty as we thought. And so many of us like made excuses to go to the bathroom because we just wanted to spit out the the licorice because she just it was just gross and nobody liked it. And I wonder now, like back then we thought we were being so discreet, like oh I asked to go to the bathroom to spit it out, but back then she was probably like completely aware of the fact that we didn't like it and just wanted to spit it out. So that was pretty funny. Then moving along to England, oh my gosh, I had a horrific teacher, and I am gonna say his name because I hated him. He was horrible to me. His name was Mr. Jenkins. Ugh. He used to always pick on me so much, and his little assistant teacher too, Mrs. Clark. Oh, she was horrible as well. There was once with her where I told her like, "Oh, miss, like," no, what was it? I had a toothache. And yes, I was a chatty child. So yes, I used to get told off for chatting a lot. But there was once where like I had a really bad toothache, and at the time, like my teachers knew that I was struggling with this decaying tooth and I kept having toothaches. And so I remember just saying to her like, "Oh, I have a really bad toothache. Like, is there any way I can go to the nurse?" And she's like, "Toothache?" She's like, "Probably because there's too much talking going on. If you stop talking, the toothache will go away." And And she just left me there to just ache in pain, which was horrible. And then with Mr. Jenkins, he always used to just pick on me and make me feel horrible. But there was once where he was like, he set us an assignment, and I was always like a bit slow starting my work when it was stuff that I didn't completely understand or wasn't very engaging. Keep in mind, I had been to international schools my whole life, and then all of a sudden I was plunged into a public English school where the learning style was so traditional and just completely, I was used to being engaged and giving kinesthetic tasks and, run free. And now it was just like, sit down and write with a biro pen and, make sure your calligraphy is well, presented and all of that rubbish. So anyway, so when I, slow starting, and I remember him going, everybody stop what you're doing. Because he was trying to get me to do my work and I wasn't like working quickly enough. And I guess I'd eventually written my name. So he goes, everybody stop what you're doing. And I said, what? And then he goes, George has managed to write his name. Finally. And everyone bursts into laughter. And starts clapping in ridicule of me. And I just remember crying. I was just so upset. He was horrible. Oh my gosh, there were so many teachers in that school that were horrible. There was another teacher, Miss Sharp, and she's the music teacher. And I remember she used to always like do that. She always used to like rub her neck, and like every time she'd do that, there'd be like left like a white handprint that was like with the background like red neck. And so anyway, she was so mean. I remember once she like called my mom in and like got really angry at me because I wasn't practicing trombone enough. And she was just like, because I'm a teacher now and I know about that kind of stuff. And it's like, instead of her talking to me and like figuring out the issue, like, why are you not practicing that much? Why you're not taking your trombone home? Like, is there anything happening at home? Like, is there any way we can support? She's like, I want your mother in. As soon as possible, I'm going to tell her that you're not practicing. Absolutely terrible. And I was just so confused because no one told me to take my trombone home, or I just don't remember being, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the England one. There's another one. She wasn't actually a teacher. She was more like a after school club person, and her name was Jackie. And I can't even do it. She used to go, right, everybody quiet please. And I always remember she had like a 7 chin, but not because of anything. She just used to push it in so far that it created a 7 chin. But there was one really positive teacher at my school in the UK, which was this swimming teacher who believed in me. She told me that she thought I was like a fish and she thought I was an amazing swimmer. She really believed in me, and in the end I ended up swimming competitively for my county, and so she was awesome. She was very tomboyish and cool and hip, and she's like, have you swam before, George? I'm like, no. She's like, you're really good. You need to swim more. This was really cool. So she was the start. I don't remember her name, but she was the start of my swimming journey. So that was that. And then moving on to Cyprus. Oh my gosh, so many funny. Do you know what? This video is going to go on for ages. So I think I'll just make a part 1 and then I'll continue. In Cyprus, there was... I went to this school called American Academy. And there was this teacher, I don't remember her name. She was Greek and she was a young teacher. And none of us cared. That school was so, just no one cared about teachers. It was just so all over the place. I think it's still open now, which is unbelievable because it's just such a joke of a school. But anyways, so they used to, the lady, this teacher would go, everybody be quiet, and we would be like throwing paper airplanes everywhere, like laughing. And so she grabbed the whole entire table. She'd grab the entire table, like her desk, which is like wide, and she'd pick it up and like bang it down, and then we'd look at her like, and then be quiet for like 30 seconds, and then be like, anyway, she's like, oh my god. Poor teacher, to be honest, like really poor teacher. But you know, I mean, maybe they should have run a course in classroom control so that she could have been better, because yeah, that was a bit of an iffy situation. There was a really good teacher I had in Cyprus called Miss Kiperti. She was Russian, and she was just like, she had red hair. She was my English teacher. Black, what am I saying? Deep red hair with like a blonde streak. And she'd be like, I remember she inspired me so much with 1984 by George Orwell. She's like, think about it. Is our world really free? Or are we more like 1984 than we once thought? And you know, we talk about really broader topics and just go around it. She was awesome. She really made me want to like work hard and thrive. There was another English teacher in Cyprus in another school I went to called Miss Taylor, and she used to go, I really liked her. She was a really good teacher. She used to love reading, but when she read books, it was almost like she was eating a delectable thing with every word that came of her. She'd be like, and beyond I would rise, said he. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? But she had this funny habit of being like, we'd be like, Miss, and she'd be like, do not call me Miss. I am not Miss. I am Mrs. Taylor. Thank you. And we'd be like, oh, sorry. So yeah, she was awesome. And then I'll just do one more, and then I'll do another part another time. But I have this very memorable Spanish teacher in Saudi. I studied Spanish for 4 years, and I had this awesome Spanish teacher called Senora Jimenez. She was from Costa Rica. And she used to be like, George, what are you doing? Did you sleep last night? Because I used to fall asleep on the table. She used to be like, George, you are like a chicken with no head trying to run around, trying to find its way. And I'd be like, huh? She had all these funny, like, I don't know, what do you call them? Metaphors or analogies, or I don't know. So she used to say stuff like, George, did you study or are you on the moon? You know, all that kind of thing. She'd be like, you must study, otherwise you'd be like a chicken with no head. You know, all that kind of thing. And it's funny because even though, like, okay, her teaching style wasn't particularly my taste because it was very much to the book, she was full of life, and she used to be like, okay, Jorge, read, say something, go. You know, she was so... and she was married to a Saudi man. So she had 2 daughters who are half Saudi, half Costa Rican. And yeah, so they were very beautiful girls. But... hola, Senora Jimenez. Si estás... what's watch? Ver. Viendo. Si estás viendo. I think it's viendo. Si estás viendo mi video. Quiero quiero I used to be better at this. Wait. Quiero... It's because I'm tired. Oh yeah. Quiero te digo que yo te extraño. That was probably very wrong. But Senora Jimenez, you are still an amazing teacher. And also, it's because I haven't practiced it in years, but tú eres una profesora muy excelente. Te amo muchísimo. Te extraño. Yo recuerdo las palabras que tú me taught me. Okay, I'm going to stop trying because I'm embarrassing myself. She was a good teacher. Anyways, oh guys, this video is ridiculous. I need to go. I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Make sure. Should I try to do it in another language? Se αρέσει το βίντεο αυτό, κάμε subscribe. Επειδή αν με αρέσεις, γι' αυτό πρέπει να κάνεις subscribe και like. Okay? Bravo, gracias. Okay, masalama. Guys, okay. Subscribe. Bye.